Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to talk you through what I would do for the rest of pre-season before West Ham start the Premier League against Sunderland next Saturday. And yeah, basically recap you through the things I've liked so far, the things I've not liked, potential transfers I see happening over the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to take you through the whole transfer window because I do genuinely believe in football things can change so quickly that for me to predict where we're going to be by deadline day is a little bit pointless. You know, you could argue that it is doable. Sure, this time last week we weren't anywhere linked to John Victor, and now he looks like he's going to become our new goalkeeper. So I think the next 2 weeks is viable, and I think anything after that becomes a little bit tough, but that does not mean you guys should not get in the comments down below and let me know what your desires are for the rest of the transfer window. Because I'm always interested, because I think it's been a weird pre-season. Like, you know, the past couple of seasons I think we've all been quite pessimistic. Especially, you know, we won the Conference League. I think we felt a little bit buoyed after that, but we still remembered that we had David Moyes, we were losing Declan Rice. We all felt a little bit rubbish. And then we got Kudus in. I think everyone was a bit buoyed by that signing. But apart from that, you know, the other signings, I don't think people were that interested in Edson Alvarez at the time, or James Ward-Prowse, or Mavropanos. And then when we had Lopetegui last season, I think everyone was just a little bit confused and a little bit worried that it was a sideways step. And it actually turned out to be a back step in a sense. But this season, I have a weird energy about it. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling excited. And that's scary because when we go to the Stadium of Light next Saturday, we need 3 points off the bat. I know it's a tough fixture, right? And if we don't get 3 points, that will be down to the atmosphere. I do fully believe that, because this team has been the most together I have seen it since maybe that first Europa League season. The togetherness in the squad right now is palpable. You can feel it. So I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, where I think it's going to go, and yeah, hopefully you guys are going to be entertained and enjoy. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Your guys' support has been fantastic so far. Genuinely means the world. The fact that this channel's grown to where it has already, and it's not even been a month yet, I'm just so shocked and so thankful. But yeah, let's get into it. And basically, I want to talk about the summer series first. I'm going to avoid the Grasshoppers game because, one, I didn't watch it in full. I was hanging out with my partner. And number two, I don't think it's as relevant because that was kind of like our first getting the running in the legs. I know we've done some behind closed doors friendlies as well against Ipswich. The strange things about, you know, behind closed doors friendlies now is that with the internet, nothing's really behind closed doors. I mean, obviously no footage has come out, but you can easily find out the results and who played well, who didn't, if any injuries occurred. But from all accounts, we played well. But in the summer series, which I watched all 3 games, including the one where we played until about 1 AM on a Wednesday, I've been impressed with all 3 performances. And now that might sound a bit confusing because the Man United game was a bit rubbish. My biggest bright spark of pre-season has been Freddie Potts. I think he is ready for the first team. Now, I do think some West Ham fans get a little bit overexcited with the lad. I do think he needs to start from the bench and come on the pitch, especially to start with. I don't think we can chuck him in the deep end. I think that's dangerous. Don't think I'm sounding soft when I say this, but he's still a young player. I think you have to be careful throwing him in the deep end of the Premier League because football fans as well, and I'm not saying you guys watching the video, you know, but football fans can be quite harsh, and you don't want your confidence to be knocked so quickly. So I think, for me, he's the first sub, the 60-minute, 65-minute sub, you bring him on. And yes, I would start Edson Alvarez over Freddie Potts, right? Looking at the midfield currently, I would first give the Stadium a light. Again, maybe if he plays well against Lille, still embeds himself really well, maybe you could argue he starts. I don't know, I'm just a bit cautious with these sorts of things. Maybe that's shooting me in the foot. I really like Freddie Potts a lot. I want to be part of the squad. Genuinely, I think at the end of next season, he could be one of our most valuable players. I'm not saying that means we sell him, but I think to have an asset like that is great. I think the same for Ollie Scarles if he gets minutes. Same with Guilherme. Same with Juff. Like, these players, we have a really bad history of just not selling players very well. As you can see this season, we've not been able to let go of any of the players we want to. But Freddie Potts has been fantastic, and the integration of him in pre-season has been great. And also, I'm going to give Graham Potter and his team a big thumbs up with the integration of the youth. This probably wasn't enough as many people would have liked, but the only time I felt that he didn't integrate youth enough was Callum Marshall in the final game. I'm a big fan of Callum Marshall. I thought he played well against Everton, but I think he deserved better than just getting the added time. But apart from that, we also saw Preston Fearon come on the pitch, and again, I think some fans were upset he didn't feature more. I'm not too bothered by that aspect because I don't expect him to be in the squad going forward this season. I do fully expect for him to be in the under-21s though, and that'd be a great year for him. Caelan Casey going on loan to Swansea, fantastic. I love the fact we gave him some minutes and immediately went, yeah, he has to go out on loan. And that's not a bad thing. It's just identifying what's best for his development. I think some fans are like, oh, he looks a bit shaky, maybe he's not the guy we thought he is. He's still young. He hasn't had much experience in football. He's only played, to my knowledge, in the under-21s, under-18 setup. Now, I could be forgetting something, but I just don't remember him being out on loan, so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure George Earthy would have got minutes if he had the chance to. I think Guilherme didn't feature as much. When he did, he looked bright. Malik Diouf, I think, grew into the tournament, and calling it a tournament I know is a stretch, but you know what I mean. I think overall everyone else looked pretty decent, apart from Alphonse Areola. But we'll get to that when I talk about the transfer window. Bowen looks great, Fulkrug looks great, Paqueta has a new lease on life. The midfield still needs work. Look, I'm a big James Ward-Prowse fan, and when I say that, I don't think he's our best midfielder, but I think when fans go, James Ward-Prowse starting, what is this? I'd rather him start over Souček. I would. I love Souček as a super sub at this point, but Souček doesn't do much until the second half of games. It's a fact. He's way better when the legs are tired and he can finally jump at the defences. Put him on the 60 minutes. Great player. I wouldn't have him starting, and that is no disrespect to Thomas Souček. I think Souček is West Ham. I'd give him a new contract, but I just don't see him in our best 11. But everything else I think was really good for us. We worked out that back five a little bit more. Yes, against Bournemouth we were slow for the first 10 minutes, but then Potter made his tactical change, brought the wing backs further up the pitch, and we started to take control of the game. And that's what pre-season's about. I think fans forget that. I think fans watch it as a competitive game of football, which it is not. I saw a fan say that Iraola would have been the happier of the two managers leaving the dugout. And I was confused by that. And that's no disrespect to Bournemouth. Bournemouth put in a decent performance, but I don't know how you can basically dominate a game, 4 or 5 chances to win. Because realistically, they should have been about 4-2 up and come away with a 2-0 loss. I think that is a bit of a concern for Iraola. Whereas actually, although we didn't make many, when we did have our chances, we took them. And I think that is much more important and impressive. And actually, Malik Diouf, Bowen, Fulkrug, Paqueta, that is a front four-ish. Put Wan-Bissaka in there as well. That's a front five. I know they're wing backs, but they do get forward. That could be dangerous. I actually think as well, I'm beginning to like Bowen's new position, not as much as the right wing. Do not get me wrong, I'd much rather see Bowen on the right wing. We get a striker that can play alongside Fulkrug. Happy days. But I just don't think we're going to get there. I'm really happy with what Naif are good. Back integrated into the squad, that is a major yes from me. I think Jean-Claude Todibo looked better. You can tell that something's gone awry with his fitness, and I hope he just gets a bit better. Fulkrug's a different player now. 100%. I think he's just an entirely changed man. You can tell he's got a spring in his step, and I think fantastic. And I can't wait to see what he does this season. Of course, our pre-season isn't done. We still have 2 friendlies, one that is against Lille in front of the fans, and I think one behind closed doors. I believe it's for the Boyle Sports Cup, but I could be wrong. They may have changed the name. So that'll be interesting, and I think overall we won't see much change from that. If anything, I just want to see the stability. I hope the next couple of days the lads taking it easy. It's going to be a big flight back. Rest up today and Tuesday. I also think it's a major positive we've not come away with any major injuries like James Maddison has at Tottenham. I genuinely send my love to James Maddison because that looked rough. That must suck. That must be really hard on the brain. You're going to a pre-season, being 2 weeks away from the Premier League, and that kind of injury didn't look nice. So I'm sending my love to him, and I'm just very happy that none of our players have got anything like that or anything remotely like that. I think the injury we got was George Earthy, but I think he could be ready in time for this game against Lille. Maybe that's a bit early, which is a shame because it would have been nice for him to get some minutes to impress Graham Potter, but I don't think Graham Potter and his team will be that close-minded on this pre-season to not include Earthy in the plans. I don't see it. We already have reports as well that Potter doesn't want to loan out Potts or Earthy and see them part of the first team squad, so there you go. On to the negatives. It's the goalkeeper is the big one for me. And as we all say, the midfield is more important, but for me, Areola was just, I don't know, it's weird. I always backed Areola, but yeah, he just made so many mistakes. I thought maybe that Man United game was just an outlier. And then he was doing the keepy uppies against Bournemouth. No, we have to change him. I do think we will change him. I do think John Victor will come in. Whether he's good enough to be the first choice, I genuinely don't know. I don't know anything about John Victor. I can't even tell you. That isn't me being negative, because I can't be negative or positive because I literally have no opinion. So yeah, I would like Hermansen. I think he would be better. I know some fans believe that if we get Victor in, Areola could be going, but genuinely I don't think so. But yeah, a new goalkeeper to come in, hopefully replace Areola, or at least give him some competition, because that is just, yeah, it's not. I think the goalkeeper is the one position that does worry me, and one new midfielder would be nice. But again, it does rely on us getting rid of midfielders because we do have an abundance of them. And that kind of leads me into my last thing of who I think will leave the club. Over the next couple of weeks, not much of anyone. I think Emerson's the most likely player to leave just because he wasn't part of the US plans, and clearly Graham Potter just doesn't see him as a part of his team. So we had a deal coming for Andy Irving, Guido Rodriguez. I do think one of them will leave. I don't know which. I think Graham Potter would rather Andy Irving leave than Guido Rodriguez. And please don't shoot me, but out of the two, I probably would agree. Just because I think Andy Irving's worth more money. And I think that based on how Graham Potter plays, I reckon they'll deliver the same amount of quality on the pitch. Maxwell Cornet, I think, will go, but I don't know whether it'll be in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the pre-season. Really positive for the most part. And, you know, what I think needs to be done, which is just the goalkeeper in the midfield. If we go into the game against Sunderland next Saturday with a new midfielder and a goalkeeper, I will feel pretty excited about this season. I do believe in Graham Potter. You guys know that I've made 2 videos now in the short span of this channel basically saying how much I believe in Graham Potter, and that hasn't changed. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what he believes in, what he tries to implement. You know, you can talk about his tactics all day long, but I think one of the underrated roles of a manager is his impact on the squad, and I think he does that so very well. So yeah, Graham Potter for me. I think he's the man to take us forward. I think he is the man to take us back into Europe. Whether that happens this season, who knows? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, and bye-bye.